Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about the Venice Charter, which is a document edited in 1964 in regarding to all monuments and construction sites. This we are doing because we are in a chapter that deals with Egypt, and I read the chapter, and we've talked too much about Egypt. Not me, everybody. The newspapers, the TV was saturated with it. So a new scope on Egypt would be one regarding not only what the chapter says, but one regarding the a monument that's called Abu Simbel. Abu Simbel was a monument that I'll add a picture for you, that was had to be chopped into little pieces and set about in the same mountain, but about 250 feet above, in the same position as it was before, but 250 feet above, because there's they were building a dam, and it was going to be covered by water. This was a very important monument, so it was chopped and and moved. Now this actually moved a lot of people that are concerned with, let's say, conservation and restoration and monuments and of places, of cultural sites. So they all got together in Venice, and they made a three-page document, which is sponsored by this institution. I bet you there's letters right here that you might find: UNESCO, ICOMOS. And in our country, the National Park Service, the Ministry of Interior and the National Park Service made legislation based on this document. So you can see later, when there's in your sandbox, you will find the National Park Service, and you will find that there's a bunch of documents and procedures on how to work with this and work with that. And they're all, the spirit of the law is all embedded in relation with this document. So this is the source. That's why we're talking about the source. And we'll make some comments around it so that you get familiarized in case you have to work not only here in Arizona, but some other place in the country that you have to deal with old buildings. And here's what you got to know about them and how to proceed when you're talking construction. First of all, what is this about? It says embedded with a message from the past. Monuments have witnessed many generations and many cultural things that happen, and it is our responsibility to preserve them and keep them in a good, authentic. So there are some guidelines, which is the ones that we're going to talk about right here. And the first one is what is the concept of a historic monument? And it is not only one single architectural or construction, but it can be a whole setting of a whole 4, 5, 6, 7, even a whole city or neighborhood can be considered, let's say, a historic monument. And it also what it does is it has a cultural meaning and a significance, and something happened to it. Maybe it's a very nice piece of art or work. Maybe somebody slept there and it became famous. Maybe it can be a horrible building, but something happened in there. So all that makes a significance for the people, and therefore it should be preserved. Now, here it is, the article, then it says right here, that was the Article 1. Article 2 says that the conservation and restoration must be, of any building, must be founded on science and techniques which can contribute to safeguard the architectural heritage. I mean, it's not I come in and change whatever I want to. There's procedures, there's ways to do this. And it's a whole specialty, I mean, in this area. And there are some good schools around it, if any of you are ever interested in going into preservation of monuments. The intention, Article 3, is to preserve and safeguard the historic evidence, as we said. Historic evidence could be the building technique. It could be many other sources that happen, or many other things that happen. Now, it's broken in two parts. One is called the conservation, and others the restoration. But we'll touch both because their spirit both apply to our law. And here it is in conservation. It is said that we need to take care of the buildings. That's the first law, or the first point. Yeah, we can't let them just go down. If they have a historic value, let's take care of them. Second one, it says that they should always have a meaning, a useful purpose. They're not taxidermy. We're not stuffing buildings like dead animals and leave them there just to admire them. No, we are actually securing a use for those buildings and a purpose for them, so that they can keep alive. Otherwise, buildings, like people, also may die, just fade away. But that's not the case. So that's why we want to keep them. But changing, we don't want to change too much the layout or the decoration, because there are limits to do this. We don't want to change the significance of the document. And let's see, we've always talked that the buildings are like documents of the time. Remember that. So we don't want to change the spirit of the time, the spirit of the document. The next thing we need to look is the article says the conservation of a monument implies preserving a setting which is not out of scale. Wherever the traditional setting exists, it should be kept. We should look at a building as a whole document, as we said: historic, aesthetics, constructional values, and we are not the ones to change it. We can't change something because it means something to us, or based on a legend. We can't take parts of a building out because there's a legend around it. We can't take part of a building because it has a cultural meaning for us at this point, because cultural meanings change in time. So what has value for us in 100 years, it could be a whole different perspective. So anything that symbolizes, and the word here, the key word is, we can't change parts of a building because it signifies or symbolizes something to us, because symbols change with cultures. So therefore, the integrity of the building should be kept at all times of the construction. A monument cannot be changed, cannot be taken from its history or from the place. We don't want to we don't want to change a monument from its place. This is exactly what happened with Abu Simbel. They changed it. There was a national interest on it. But you can, like in the old ages, right here in the 1920s and 30s, when Hollywood people used to go to Europe and they fell in love with chimneys and castles, and just, give me 2 of those and 1 of these, and brought them right here and built them back. Or the little joke that was done with the London Bridge that was actually brought here to Arizona. That is, it's a little naive on the whole issue. Although it was a British joke that actually started this whole deal. Now, anything Article 8, sculptures and painting and decorations form part of the building, and they cannot be removed only just to preserve them if it's completely necessary. Removing pieces have been again a burden on some things. Look at and I have to talk about the British and the French again, when they went to Egypt and when they went to the Greeks and removed pieces of the Parthenon, and now they're in the British Museum and in the Louvre. Countries want them back. So we can't remove parts or have others remove parts from meaningful buildings. Having said that, let's go to the next part